Hello, welcome. Hello, thank you for watching Monday Night Mandate. I'm your host, Alexandria Butler, candidate for District 9 here in the beautiful, wonderful state of Texas. And meet my beautiful co-host, Carmen Montiel.
Hello, Alexandria. Yes, my name, as you know, is Carmen Maria Montiel, and
Yes.
I am the Republican candidate for District 18 for this year's special election on November 4th. Remember, it's this year, November 4th, special election to fill up that seat that is being vacant for a few months.
Yes.
And I'm so pleased to be with
Tell the
Alexandria
people a little
here.
bit more about yourself. Tell us about how your campaign's going. Fill us in real quick because we need to know.
Well, you know, it's we are 71 days
Yes.
away from election day.
That's right.
I'm second in the polls in what is called a jungle race.
Right, it's a jungled race.
There is 24 candidates so far, and I'm second in the polls. We will know who really is going to make it to the ballot on September 3rd, see
right.
who is going to sign up in Secretary of State. I already signed up Secretary of State.
That's right.
But as you know, America first, I'm MAGA because I believe, what do we do first? We take care of our family first.
That's
so if we
right.
take care of our family first, after that, we take care of our country first. There is nothing wrong with that.
They say charity starts in la casa.
At home, exactly. And that's how we start in our country's
I know
first. And
that's right.
America is the greatest country in the world.
In the world.
And that's why we need to make America great again. Because those last 2 years of you know who really almost took us to the... Well, it's been for years, but the last 2 years really took us
We
to...
almost turned into Venezuela, didn't we?
Almost. And listen, still, we have to deal with those issues, and it's not going to be as easy.
Not
But
at all.
thanks God, it looks like the dictator will be down soon.
That's right. And you know, it's funny that you say that because people try to call Trump a dictator as if he's just doing all of these evil things. But you've actually been in a place where you had a dictator. Fill the people in a little bit before we start getting to our little talking points here. Tell the people a little bit about what it's really like to live with a dictator.
A dictator first changed the Constitution, and in a way that he can be reelected
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Then he rigged the elections. A dictator doesn't step down, stay there. And even after he's proved that he lost, like we've been trying to prove it, but July 28th of last year, the opposition was able to prove that the opposition won, that the dictator lost, but he's a dictator. He will not
Absolutely.
step down. So when they say Trump is a dictator, he legally won, and rightfully so,
Right.
a mandate
Right.
election.
Yes.
And even though they rigged the elections in 2020,
Yes, they
because
did.
because I come from the future, I say it had happened in Venezuela, they created how to rig the elections.
Yes, they did.
He still stepped down.
Yes.
And then he postulated himself again, and he won. And he is the peaceful president.
Yes, he's the president of peace, duly elected by the American people, won the electoral and the popular vote. He is the man for the job. He's the best president we've ever had.
Best president. And the other thing that a dictator, especially a communist dictator,
Yes,
does
yes.
is starve their own people.
There it is.
And you know, when you look at history, millions and millions of people have died because of communism. So
I'm glad you
that's
brought
a
up communism.
dictatorship. Yeah, and we need to, because people now want to say, oh, well, no, it's a criminal regime. It started as communism.
Yes.
Well, original socialism.
Right.
Like I tell people, socialism is the entry door to communism.
And it's really like the financial arm of communism. It's kind of how you get the people in. Hey, we got all these great programs, welfare, da 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 da.
And they run out of money. They usually do.
Right.
Even in the desert, they will run out of sand.
Yes.
And then what else is there? But to join crime.
You have to.
And they have to join crime is the only way to survive because they stop, even though Venezuela has so much oil, they stop the production. And when they try to reactivate it, those fields get clogged.
Absolutely.
So it's not the same. Plus, at the pace they rob, that's the other thing with communism. Is
Right.
communism for thee and wealth, a lot of wealth for they.
Right. So then you just have two classes of people, those people up at the very top that are eating steak and shrimp while we're all down here fighting for table scraps and what's under the table.
That's what it's all about. And people need to understand, don't fall for handouts because eventually they're even going to run out of handouts. And then you will, like the people in
Yes.
Venezuela, be looking in trash cans for food.
Or your
It's
dog.
that sad.
Or your pet.
Or your dog.
Right.
Like they were eating even the zoo animals in
I felt
Venezuela.
so sad for them.
It's so bad. So people needs to, if we keep on going this path, like I said, 4 years of Trump is not enough. That's what we need to elect more people like us that understands, that will
Right.
vote for Trump's agenda and advance Trump's agenda and for what is right to get away from the left. But real people that says it,
Right.
not
Pure
the
hearts.
fakes
Pure
that
hearts.
say, oh yeah. Look
Right.
at the past. I believe communism is like something that is in the gym.
I agree.
And people inherit that. So research your candidate.
It's like, okay, if you have all these generations of communist people in your family, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be that one that breaks the generational curse that somehow you no longer follow communism? You're going to have concepts that you've been built upon because the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. So if
Exactly.
a child is being trained up in communism and then they get older and now suddenly they're the Republican in their family now.
Oh, no. And like I said, I don't believe in a communist that have repented. I just believe in a communist that is an opportunist.
They are now
That's
subversive.
That's the reality. They're just opportunists.
I think Obama was a subversive Marxist. I really think that a lot of the things that he did, it was masked by this facade, and it made people think that he was actually doing something good for this country. But he was actually, the most dividing of all the dividing of all the presidents we've had, and he implemented so much communism within within everything. He's the reason why a lot of this USAID stuff is happening, which brings me to one of our points today. It's not really USAID, but, I have this point here. It says top teachers unions funneled nearly $50 million to left-wing groups since 2022, a report shows. This is kind of like what they were doing with USAID, funneling this money, and this is how they launder money.
And this is the people that are supposed to educate our children.
Right.
And they're supporting the left.
Right.
Which is something that we don't support. I will never support anybody to have access to teach my children, or that they are from the left, because I'm teaching my children about the right, about capitalism, about, owning our own things, about believing in merit, okay, and study and fight and earn things by merit.
Right.
And so, but they have used USAID and everything to funnel money, taxpayers' money,
taxpayers'
towards
money.
the left. And as a right-wing conservative person, it is an insult to me that my own money is used to advance the left.
Right.
I'm sorry.
This is wicked. These teachers unions, these are people that are in control of our children. They spend 7 to 8 hours a day with our kids. Right. At this point, and I'm not telling parents to take their kids out of school. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, parents, please, meet with these teachers, go to the teachers' conferences, go to the open houses. If you've got your child in public school, don't just leave them there for 8 hours a day.
Get involved.
You know that there are leftist liberals. This is $50 million. This is what they're funneling. That's all we know about. right? They probably need to doge these little teachers unions groups and all of that.
Well, I'm against unions.
Yeah.
By the way, let's start by that. I'm against unions. And how come is it that the teachers' unions have more power than our own country
Right.
and the parents?
Right. They've actually removed the authority from the parents, and now the teachers are basically saying we are in charge of your kids, and they are, because when our kids get home from school at the end of the day, and a lot of parents, look, we've got to start having dinner at the table again, right?
Yes.
A lot of parents are no longer able to have dinner at the table with the kids and talk about
That's
what
the
those
best
children
time.
learn
Yep.
during their day. Now these kids can learn anything. They can learn that the teacher has a wife and she's a woman. They can learn that, and you don't know anything about it because
No, and then they have friends at school that have that situation. And
Right.
at the table, I always did that with my children. Now they're in college.
Right.
We always sat down for dinner, and
That's
it was the time
important.
for discussion. And,
That
and
is
they brought that
important.
up. And I was like, well, yeah, but that's not right.
Right.
What
It's
the
not right.
Bible says is you have to have a man and a woman having children.
Right.
And that's the Christian way, and that's what God wants us to do. And that's why we're always there to guide our children, because
Right.
not only they spend hours with the teachers, then they have this little thing that they're spend hours there
get
also.
them phones out of their hand, and we're about reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Completely.
So let's talk about this here. We were talking earlier about how Trump is the best president, right?
He
This
is the best
man,
president.
He has delivered Washington, D.C., our state's capital. They have not had a single homicide in 12 days. That is an accomplishment.
Well, that's an accomplishment. And somebody asked me today, it said, Carmen, they're saying that he's only doing this in blue states. And I said, well, first of all, Washington, D.C. is not a state.
It's not a state, first
Okay? That's the capital, and he lives there. And he has not done it in any other state. But
he hasn't.
now, let's be realistic. What are the states with the worst crime problem? The blue states.
It's always blue.
So I'm sorry, they are the ones that we need to put the house in order.
Hello.
And I agree with that. We need, our first and most important priority in life is to defend our lives and defend the lives of others. So how is that bad?
Right.
How is it that the Democrats, when Trump says, what, I'm just going to send the army, I'm going to put the house
Right.
in order,
That
and we're
easy.
going to control, and we're going to control crime. And the Democrats are like, no.
Right.
And you're like, well, are you for the people?
Right.
Or are
They're
you
for
against
crime.
the people?
They're for crime.
They're for crime.
Right. That's what they're saying.
So they're against the people. They're for the criminals.
Yes. They hate the people. They absolutely. You can't say you love people and you're encouraging them with an abortion bus in front of your national convention.
Exactly. That's
Like,
murder.
honestly, that should have
murder.
opened the eyes of every single American in this country. And they should have said, why are they flippantly killing children in front of their national convention? Because they're trying to keep their sorcery going by the abortion of these babies.
Well, but let me tell you, have you seen that even CNN
Yes.
said recently that the Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters,
Yes.
while the Republicans has gained 2.4 million voters. Why? It's just common sense. It gets to the point that the own Democrats said, listen, I cannot be voting for somebody that is not going to defend me
Right.
when a criminal come to my door
They
and the
need better-
priority is the criminal.
Right.
And they're trying to brainwash my kids and want a boy in the girls'
Yes.
bathroom or a boy beating up a girl in a sport.
Right.
So it's just common sense.
Right.
And they keep on losing people. That's why I'm laughing when
Right.
they say, well, this new redistricting, still are some districts blue. Not even blue districts are going to be able to win blue
They
because
can't. They need to read the room. The people are becoming a little bit more wholesome. They've realized we veered off into this, well, really the left. We veered off into this wrong direction, and the left is giving them more of what they think they want, but things have shifted. The people don't want sin anymore. They are realizing that this is destroying our future. This is destroying our communities. We can't have any more of it. So they're
Nope.
starting to put their feet down. Like, for instance, Snoop Dogg criticizes LGBT characters in children's movies, laments that kids are going to ask questions.
Of course.
Now, this is a leftist, came against Donald Trump, has never been this outspoken about this in
Yes.
particular.
But it's the right thing, that's what I said. The wholesomeness and of children
Yes.
should be preserved by we adults.
Right.
We are in charge.
Protect their innocence.
Protect their innocence. And, of course, if you expose kids at early age to certain things, of course, they're going to ask questions.
Absolutely.
And they should be introduced to certain things when they're mature enough for that. And only the parents
Right.
are the one that should talk about it.
Absolutely.
And what happened is they're pushing this in books in the school,
Yes.
in movies. And they're just destroying their innocence.
Absolutely.
And I don't agree. I'm a mother of 3.
Right.
They're grown adults now, 29, 26, my girls. My son is 20. And let me tell you, when my girls were teenagers,
Right.
I disconnected Disney Channel.
That's right.
I disconnected. I used to have Disney Channel.
That's
and
right.
one day I'm sitting with her watching one of the shows. I don't know if it was Hannah Montana, one of those.
One of them.
And 2 girls were kissing. I said, this is it.
Yeah, I've seen
I
that.
was like, we at Disney Channel till today. You can ask my son.
Right, that's why we
if he
stopped
grew up
watching it.
because he's the youngest.
Right.
And remember, he was asking a friend of mine, "Can you give me access?" I was like, "Don't you dare give access to my son to Disney
Oh,
because
no.
there is a reason why I do not
Not
have
in this
Disney.
home.
Not in my house."
Oh my goodness. It's very interesting to see these people are starting to wake up, right? And so, I kind of want to bring it down a little bit to a personal level because when I was younger, I was molested. Okay.
I'm sorry.
And one of the things that my molester did was introduce me to, raunchy movies and raunchy jokes, trying to lower my defenses and steal my innocence from me.
Of
I was
course.
4 years old. And, showing me images in Playboy. Oops, I shouldn't show you that. Like that to
Yes.
intrigue me and pique my curiosity to get me to look at this stuff, right? And I'm a child, okay? So this is grooming, okay? This is what
Definitely.
they're doing when they're placing these things in movies or putting it on the Disney Channel. And you think it's just like 5 seconds of 2 girls kissing on the Disney Channel, right? A
I don't
kid
care
might
what
not
it is.
even- it's
They should never see that.
subconscious. It burns into their subconscious mind and it creates seeds that grow and sprout into trees later on. And so these individuals, Snoop Dogg is right to criticize them. I'm
applauding him for
Yeah, me
that.
too.
Finally, thank
Like,
you very much.
good
Yes.
job, Snoop Dogg. I mean, Snoop Doggy Dogg. You escaped a murder charge back in the day. Now you're criticizing LGBT. Good job. I mean,
Well, and let me tell you, I have many friends
Right.
that they're gay, and even they are not
Right.
agreeing with this,
Right.
Because they really don't agree that children should be exposed to all of these
Right.
or groomed,
Right.
And actually, many have even told me, like, the advances that they made
yes.
is being destroyed.
Yes.
Because of all these new things. And they say whatever we gain, now they're losing because now people are hating them. Because,
Right.
of course, everybody's going to think all of them are in the same boat
Right.
trying to deform
And they're not.
our children.
Because we don't look. My daughter is trans. I have a son who's trans. Look, I love them very much. They know my stance on this because I'm a Christian woman. However, they would never put a child in harm's way in any way,
No.
shape, or form. They know what happened to me. They're very protective of children. This right here, what this does, exposing children to this kind of stuff, it makes it easier for pedophiles to do what they do.
Oh, and for it start deforming because if you reinforce as parents, we
Right.
need to reinforce who they are biologically.
Right.
And we need to reinforce, but not if they start the confusion, we have to reinforce. So there is no need to start the confusion or
Right.
introducing information that
None
you
of
don't
that.
need to. And that's the problem. Like everybody says, how come is it that, the problem with gay and lesbian has grown so fast?
Right.
And especially after COVID.
Right.
And it is because of the exposure they have given to children.
It is.
If there was no exposure, they are who they are. And
Right.
that's why we need to be watchful with our children.
We absolutely do. And one of the things that contributed to the fall of the Roman Empire was that they were full blown into homosexuality and pedophilia. Right?
Yes.
They were grooming children. And it's just like you cannot expect America to thrive or become great again if we are allowing this and not protecting the children. God said,
Sodoma and Gomorrah.
it's better that a millstone be hung around your neck than you harm one of these little children. So we're not going to be part of the group on the left that does those things. We have to completely
We need to
separate
protect our
ourselves from
children.
these people and protect our children and stand up for them, because if we don't stand up for them, who will.
Who's going to do it?
Right.
And we need to stand up to schools and call them,
Yes.
like, forget it, stop this mess. But
Stop it.
did you see what else happened about that topic here in Harris County?
Oh,
Oh,
what?
you see. Well,
Yeah.
Adrian Garcia, the budget of the county is in deficit.
We're
big
broke.
time deficit. $200 billion. Is it $200 billion or
I think
million? It's a lot.
It's $200 million. I
Million
think,
dollars that we're in deficit.
but it's more than that. Like it's actually more than that.
$200 million in deficit in Harris County. And Adrian Garcia, who is one of the commissioners, he wants to foot the bill for over $400,000 for, what is it, the softball championship
to subsidize a
of
gay
gays.
softball.
And then we have, remember what I said on Saturday?
Right.
We drive an SUV in this city. It's not a fashion; it's a
Right.
need.
It's a
we have holes,
necessity.
and we flood. And here he is willing to spend almost $500,000
Yes.
for this. It's like
Where are they going to get the money?
exactly, and there is only one man standing at the commissioner's court.
Yes,
Tom
one Republican.
Ramsey, one Republican. He's the only one opposing this.
The last man standing.
The last man stand, because when they can redistribute it to their advantage,
Right.
they do it, and
Right.
there is nothing wrong with that. It's only where Republicans do it.
It's only bad when we do it, but as long as they can keep doing it and nobody says a word.
It's okay. So it's just the unfairness of the left. How is me all the way until the end, and that's how they see themselves with the money. They're just put you to think.
Yes.
Okay? A real person does not repeat. It might seem certain because we stand in the same platform,
Right.
but we say it differently.
Right. Speak
we
the
say
truth,
it in
the
our own
power
way.
from our hearts.
Exactly.
And they can't do that because this is the thing. They're being paid to say a script. And if they don't say this script, the powers that be, they're done.
And this is what you have to say, and they're trained for that.
Right.
And it's amazing to see every senator, every Democratic
Yes.
senator or congressperson, they'll say the same thing.
Yes, they do.
And Obama was the main one, and I saw it right away.
Absolutely.
When he first became a presidential candidate, because we hardly knew him.
Right.
He was a senator for how long? As soon as he won the Senate seat,
I think
he ran
was
for
a
president.
one term, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably. And I don't
don't
think he
remember.
even finished the term.
Right. I don't think he did either. It was like they installed him as the senator and then boom.
Oh, right away.
Right.
Oprah Winfrey did that. He won a Senate. Said, "How about the presidency?" And boom, there we have the guy.
This was their, and they knew that they were going to use him to divide the people. They
Yeah.
knew this was all planned. And I just remember looking at him and he just looked like a serpent to me. And it's crazy because I was actually told when I was a little kid that I'd never see a black president, right? So you would think I'd be so excited. Oh, but
Yeah.
color, race, this thing here, I don't
No.
identify with this.
Here and merit. No, and it's so sad that you would have think that the first black president would have unified the country, and he was the most divisive.
Every chance he could get, he divided us.
Him and Michelle.
Oh.
Both. They were very divisive. He said, she says the worst thing, and I said, come on, how can you are an American, you get to be at the White House. Isn't this the land of opportunity? Shouldn't you be thankful for that?
I remember that speech.
Yeah.
I do.
If anything, she should be thankful and say, you know what? Look at this country
Right.
that Obama and I have come
Right.
to this point in life.
Right.
And it was the contrary. She kept on pounding that this was the worst country of them all.
And that was our first lady.
Yep. And I always tell people,
Lady. I'm sorry.
I agree. This is I agree. This is the best country in the whole world because
Yes.
I come from another country and I have traveled and have the experience. And I'm going to tell you, this is the best country in the whole world.
Yes.
It might not be perfect
Yes.
because nothing is perfect because every time the Democrats criticize it, but it is the best country in the whole
Yes, it
world.
is.
And it is the best constitution in the whole world. Nothing is perfect, but we have the best.
That's right. It's I've been sometimes whenever I have a little bit of free time, I'll scroll through TikTok, right? And I'm noticing a lot more people traveling overseas and having the worst time of their lives, right?
Yeah.
Because they are learning what a lot of us already know, that we have a worldview. So we know that people in other countries that are not America, they're not very nice. They have a different way about how they order their steps. They don't like the American way. When we bring our attitudes and how we are and our confidence and our brashness and our loudness, when we bring that to another country, they hate us. And
yeah, you have to read before you go to the country.
Right, and Americans don't do that.
Yes.
Right, we think everything's like America. And so we go, like, I watched a video. It was so funny. This girl, her dream was to go to Paris. She goes, and she hated it. She said there's trash everywhere. It stinks. These people are rude.
And the French are rude.
They are rude.
Naturally, against anybody.
And if you go to France, do not go there and not use their accent if you try to speak French. And if you speak French to a French person, speak it as perfectly as possible, because they will never let you forget it.
No, I'd rather speak Spanish
I'd rather
when I'm
not
there.
Speak.
No, I'd rather speak Spanish when I'm there, because somehow they have a hatred towards Americans.
Yes.
So I'd rather speak Spanish when I'm there.
That makes sense, because you'll get mistreated as an American.
Yeah, because they think I'm from Spain.
Right.
So instead of thinking I'm American.
Right.
And so you get a better
treatment. They'll turn their
treatment.
nose up at you if you're an American.
It's the truth.
And I just love it for a lot of these people. They're finding out, because before they were hating America so bad, and they're thinking America's the most racist country. It's like, have you been anywhere else? Racism. You have yet to experience racism in America. Go to another country where there is no diversity. Go to Asia. Go to China, anywhere in China, and you're the only white or the only black. They're going to look at you like a museum creature or a zoo creature. They're going to be like trying to touch your hair, trying to figure out, why is your skin this color? They've never seen that.
Well, it's funny because actually, when I was in China, they wanted to take picture with us.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a group of girlfriends, because we were different than them.
Right.
So they wanted to take pictures
Right.
with us. And we want to take picture with them.
Yes.
We found funny
Right.
that it was the other way around.
Right.
So we thought it was hilarious.
Yes.
And let's talk about rude people.
Oof.
So, and here we are, we're nice. I'm going to tell you something. When I came here as a student in 1988, and I came to the Bible Belt. I was in North Carolina first,
nice.
and then Tennessee, in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, Johnson City. I've been there many times.
Yes, that's where I graduated from, East Tennessee State University. And I remember for me, it was a shock, because I'm, from Venezuela.
Culture shock. Big time.
But the shock was the racial part,
Yes.
because in Venezuela, we mix right away. So in Venezuela, there was never racism. It was classism.
It's classism.
But not racism. So but still when I go back and think about how things were back then,
Yes.
and how they became after Obama.
Yes.
And by the time Obama won the presidency, we were so advanced,
Right.
that we can basically say that there were no racism in this country, and he took us back
He
like
sure did.
100 years.
I think my biggest, when I realized that he was the biggest divider, it was during the Trayvon Martin case.
Oh,
I literally researched this whole case.
Yes.
When I found out that young man not only made it home, right, and then decided to go back to fight this man, George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
When I found that out in the police report and watching the court case, and the young girl, the girlfriend, testified that, and they pinged the phone, and that's how they found out he was on his front porch and went back to fight this man.
Yeah.
He didn't want this man getting the best of him, or whatever. His pride
and
would
he
not
was
let
not
him go.
like an angel.
No,
that
not at
little
all.
kid was not an
He
angel
went
at
back
all.
to fight the security for that neighborhood. That's what he did.
Yeah.
He made it all the way home with the Skittles in the Arizona, and then his pride wouldn't let him stay home. He left. And
He
went
had
back.
to go. Yeah.
Obama.
Oh, he was the first one to say, that could have been my kid.
He said that could have been my son, and also basically implied that George Zimmerman was guilty.
Yeah. And see, that was,
Before
as
he
a
was
president,
tried.
he should have never gotten involved, because
Never.
in this country, you're innocent until
proven guilty.
But when he said that, he declared him guilty right away.
Right. He sure
And that's
did.
the reality.
That is the
and
reality.
that's when, from then on, I remember it was like, I thought we advanced in racism in America, but he really took us back.
Yeah, he took us back a lot of years, and we're still rebuilding from this. Like right now, things have gotten into a fever pitch at this point. People, and I'm going to bring something up that's going to be a little controversial. It's called Black fatigue, right? where for many years they're saying that the Black community has not had any accountability. Okay, and so because they have when you try to talk to certain people, they don't want you to say anything. They get mad, angry, and start intimidating. And so people have been like not saying anything.
Yeah, hands off.
Feeling some sort of guilt because then the race card gets thrown in.
Exactly.
See?
And it's the worst that can happen to you.
Right.
If they throw the race card.
And then you're done. I mean, once that race card gets pulled, you're done. Like all of a sudden, you're just like, it's over for you. You know?
Yeah, and it's not being fair.
It's not fair.
And that's when he took us back like 100 years or more.
He did.
Into the history of, into this country. And especially, when kids as the kids are as more to more cultures and, they really, kids grew up, if they are exposed early on to different cultures, different colors, they grew up colorblind.
Yes, they don't see it.
That's the reality. Right. They don't see it. But if we keep on talking about it, then again, when we talk about sex, then that's when the problem starts. So stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it.
We are all Americans.
Thomas Sowell, he agrees with that, and so does he's an actor. It's not important. I don't remember his name, but I'm serious. When we stop talking about this and looking at this as we are all the same race. We're all human.
We're all human, and we're all Americans.
Right.
Okay, and what matters is you're married. Do you deserve it because you earn it?
Right.
And that's it. That's all. We have to push our kids to be the best they can
Americans.
be. That's it. And we're all Americans.
We're all Americans. I'm not less American because of the color of my skin. We are all Americans, and we have to understand that when the president says Americans, he's addressing all of us. He's not just addressing white people, okay? He's addressing all of us that are American citizens with full American benefits.
And let me tell you something, because I learned, as I told you, I came here to study in 1988, and later I learned that there was never this such thing as African Americans. That was a creation in the 70s with, what's his name?
Jesse Jackson?
Jesse Jackson, which I can't stand. He was the one that decided to put that label.
Yes.
And when he put that label, that created racism.
It did.
That created separation because from being American, suddenly they became African American.
And never been to Africa.
And that's the other thing. And now we're talking about people that from generations have been in America.
Right.
It's like, I'm not going to give you an example because I was born and raised in Venezuela. And originally, the Spaniards were the ones we don't say we're Spaniards, Venezuelan. We're just Venezuelans.
You're just Venezuelans.
And like I said, we have all colors of the rainbow.
Right.
And when I came here, it shocked me. And then I learned that it was Jesse Jackson that came up with that idea. And I was like,
it's silly.
It's silly.
Yeah,
and I believe
silly.
that all African Americans should start saying, you know what, we're Americans.
I'm American.
And that's it.
Like, I told somebody the other day, I'm an American that happens to be darker skinned. That's it. There's nothing different about me and anybody else, or you and anybody else. There's nothing different. Our skin colors just happen to be different, but we're all the same race. We're all the human race. Like, if aliens suddenly come out from the sky and start attacking us, that's a different race. Okay?
And let me tell you, and I can assure you, the aliens are not going to look at colors to attack us. No. They're just going to attack.
All humans must die. Okay, so we have a point here. So we talked about how Trump basically took on the big pharma, right? But he's also taking on the military-industrial complex. He's thinking of renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War. What do you think about that?
Isn't that interesting? Well, he mentioned it.
Yes.
So, once again, when he says something, it's because he's up to something.
Right.
But isn't that interesting coming from the president of peace?
Right.
Because that's the reality with him. And probably he's doing this. Probably there is a joke within it, because he says, what are they defending? What the Department of Defense has been doing for a year is getting involved in war.
Right.
Probably there is, the way he thinks.
Right. Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology.
Department of War, I think, is a great name for that. But the thing is that when it comes to defense, right, we should really be on the offense, right?
Oh, I agree completely.
And so, Department of War sounds more offensive, right? And I agree with the reverse. Like it's like there's several layers to this. I think there's several layers. Department of War, and then it's kind of like, ooh, is he building a war machine? What's going on?
Yeah,
here?
people's gonna, and we're talking about the president of peace
Of
because
peace.
no one war when he was president the first time. Same here right now. He's just working on peace treatments. So there is something to it. But I agree with him. It's
Yes.
like, and that's something also to be learned by Republicans.
That's right.
Do not play defense.
Right.
We
Don't.
need to attack because all the time they're like, oh, we're not going to do this. Oh, that's a Democratic district. We should not. No.
It's a Democrat stronghold. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't.
And you know what? Let's attack and fight for our people.
That's right. Let's stay on the offense. Let's stop with this defensive stuff.
Oh, you never win if you're only in defense.
No, I mean it's
you
like
win if you're attacking.
Right. Attack. Be that one that's attacking. So then they have to defend themselves. So,
Exactly.
And I think it's great that, as women, right, in this modern world, one of the most popular things that women do is reject men, mistreat men. They won't submit to the men's missions or visions or anything. For us to be women that are candidates, right, running in our respective districts, 18, 9, we submit to the mission of Donald Trump, right?
Oh, completely. I'm like 5.
Right.
And I believe it can be done like you do. And but the only way it can be done is if we do it.
If we do it.
But not sitting at home.
If you don't change anything, nothing will change.
And not taking no for an answer.
Right.
Every time everyone said, well, but that's so hard. And I said, well, how come I'm second in the polls? Obviously, everybody, the people are tired of this. They're tired.
Right. They are tired, and they've been watching, especially Republicans, right? They trust somebody, right? And they're like, oh, they're putting their money in this person. They're like, follow them to these events. They're like, yeah, they're going to do it. They get the seat and forget about everything they promised.
And they go vote alongside the Democrats. How many of them have done it? That's what you need to research. And what I tell people when they ask me, I say, you know what? In my case,
Yes.
I lost that country and I refuse to lose another one.
Oh, yes.
And I will never, because that will do that or sell myself, because that means I'm selling my children's future, your children's future, our grandchildren's future. And I'm going to tell you what. When I came to study here, I was working in television already in Venezuela.
Yes.
And I came here to study, learn English, all of that. I have promised jobs. I have offers to get back that were unbelievable.
Yes.
But while I was here, Hugo Chavez did the first 2 coups to overturn the government.
Yes.
And that's when I said, well, let me stay a little. Let's wait to see if things get better, and never did.
Right.
So the promised future I was to have in Venezuela, it was gone.
Stripped from you.
So I know by own experience.
Yes.
And that's why I fight so hard doing this. And it'll be too comfortable to run, in a Republican district.
Yes.
Oh, that's comfortable. No, I want to take one from them.
That's right.
Because we need to gain ground.
It's time to grind. And you can only do that by playing offensively. You can't do that by playing
No,
in
you need
defense.
to attack.
You have to. I like your little attack. That's cute.
Because we're ladies. We're not going to go bang.
No. Just a little. I bring up the fact that in this modern world, women are just, they aren't the same women, right? We can see it, right?
Yes.
Women have changed. They're not doing the same things that they did in the past. They have a hard time aligning with men. They don't even want to have babies anymore,
Well, because they have to, it have come to a point that they have to choose am I going to be this career woman?
Yes.
Or am I going to be a mother? Because to be the mother, that is watching over children, making sure they're not brainwashed.
Right.
You have to be a present mother. And that's the problem.
Yeah, it's difficult in this day and age, especially,
Yes.
and I'm not, harping on the women only, because humans in general, things have gotten worse,
And what happened is also the children that, in my case, that my kids have seen a conservative mother,
Right.
they say, Mom, how come bringing kids to this world is so messed up? And that's when you realize when you have young kids telling you that, it makes you wonder that's what I'm doing, because
Right.
it's so sad
Yes.
that young kids don't want to have kids.
They don't. They're scared. They're scared that if I bring my child in this world, they might die of a fentanyl overdose, which my son passed away in April from a
I'm
fentanyl
so sorry.
overdose.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's a major problem we have, and that's
Right.
why there is so many chips parked in front of Venezuela
Right.
since Trump
Because they're
raised
done with
the
the
bounty.
fentanyl. We can't. That's killing our people.
Well, and you see now the European forces are joining
Yes.
United States and starting to send their chips in
Yes.
front of Venezuela because this has to stop.
It has to stop.
It has, it's definitely something that we need to take care.
They just arrested, I think, one of the head Mexican cartel. I guess they started off selling one drug, but they ended up with fentanyl. They were getting it from China. And they were selling fentanyl, getting it up through America. They estimated, I think, 10 million people have died from this specific cartel's fentanyl.
Well, and the thing, what happened is the president is a Marxist.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened is the people, the senators and
Yes.
people in Congress and the Senate in Mexico are actually saying to United States that they need help.
Right.
While, of course, the Marxist president is like, no, because they're all getting. Remember, I said, wet the hand, mojarle la mano. You said, grease the hand.
Grease the palm, wet the hand.
So, because all these Marxists,
It's money.
it's all about
The
money.
love of money is the root of all evil. It doesn't say money is the root of all evil because money is a tool, right?
Money is a tool.
If
You
I've
can
got
enjoy
6 million hammers, that's a tool, But if I've got $6 million, that's a tool as well.
Yeah.
But loving that stuff, to where you would do anything to get it, right? Or do anything to keep it. Okay, that's a dangerous place to be in. Nobody should be in that place whatsoever. No politician. And see, earlier we had started off this little segment by talking about, establishment politicians and career politicians that get into
Stay away
these
from
seats.
them.
If
Look
you-
who is behind your candidates and find out who they are. See, and that way, who are backing
do
up.
your research.
Do your research, and then you will know even though if they have never run or hold a political position, their backers will tell you
That's
if they're
right.
establishment or no.
Right.
So just grassroots people.
You'll know by
like
how much
us.
money they have.
Yeah.
The more money they have, the more establishment and career politician they are.
Definitely.
I'm telling you. Just
Yes.
mark my words. See, we have this mindset that makes people think the more money you have, somehow you're so great, right?
You are the greatest candidate. You're a good candidate because, and no, you have people with interest
Yes.
behind
Right.
you.
They are bought.
And that means that whenever they get to that position, they're going to have to pay back
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reality. That's why I ask my people to say, you know what, donate $5, $10, $20.
That's right.
But it's you, the people, I work for you.
We're
and I
working
will
for
work
them.
for you.
That's
Yeah.
right. Tell the people a little bit about yourself. Give your website. We're getting a little close to
Yes.
the end.
Carmen, number 4, congress.com. Remember, go there. You can sign in. Well, first of all, you can meet me. You can read about me, which is
nice.
very important
Yes.
that you know who the candidate is.
Yes.
And then you can sign in as volunteers. We need a lot of soldiers on the ground. We're already walking.
That's right.
And with the donations, like I told you, it doesn't have to be a lot. $5, $10, $20, what you can. Everything adds up. And it will take us to the win. As I say, I'm running second in the polls. That means that we can win this. And actually, we will win this.
Yes,
Remember,
that's
this
right.
election
I like
is this
that.
year.
Yes.
Special election, November 4th.
Yes.
There is 17 constitutional amendments, Texas
Yes.
constitutional amendments in the ballot on November 4th.
That's right.
That's also another reason for you to go to vote.
That's right.
So let's do that. As of today, we're 71 days away from election day.
71 days.
So it's just around the corner.
Carmen the number 4, Congress.com. Carmen, the number 4, Congress.com. And you know what? I want you to give more than $20. I want you to give
Whatever
more than
you
$50.
can, yes.
I think there's a limit of $3,500. Reach down deep into those pockets and help my sister out. She's running in District 18. The race is full. Okay, It's a bunch of
24 candidates, and I'm running second in the
4,
polls.
and she's number 2. Let's keep her let's make number one go under her so they can be number two and she can be number one. But
And and make history.
Right.
This
and
will
make
be
history.
historical.
She will be the first Venezuelan-born woman that happens to be Republican.
Republican and Venezuelan born at all that will be in Congress.
Period.
And Republican. You know, a Latina, because some other Latinas has,
Yes.
but a Republican, conservatives,
Yes.
true conservatives, completely America first,
Yes.
MAGA. There is
Oh, yeah.
nothing wrong with that because we should take care of our family first and then our city and our country. There is nothing wrong with that. And because the Democrats made us, forced us, abandon that because it was bad. Look where we are.
Look where we are. Look where we are. And I'm running in District 9. My name's Alexandria Butler. You see it on the screen right there. Hallelujah. Right there.
There it is.
And, we are definitely America first. And like my sis said, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been thinking a lot about that because somebody asked me, do you think that you should be pro-MAGA as much as you are? And I think so, because I'm here to serve the people. I'm not here to halt the process or obstruct the process of what the president is intending to do with his mission and his vision to make our country great again. I am down with that. I want our country to be great. Who doesn't? When we look at what's going on in D.C., how they have not had any murders in 12 days, okay?
That's a victory.
That's a victory. 12 days. 12 days. They're celebrating that they have not had a single homicide in 12 days. When you're celebrating things like that, you've gone too far. Today, Ken Paxton ordered the 10 Commandments to be displayed in front of the schools. And so, we're starting right now. We're going to start re-educating our children. We're going to start protecting our children. We're gonna play the long game. We're going to play the same game that the left plays, but for the right reasons. Okay? We are going to be as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And is there anything else you want to say before I
never
close?
be silent. No, thank you for being with us and listening to us. Please follow both our campaigns.
Yes. Oh,
she's running next year.
Yes.
The map have changed. I'm running right now,
Right
and I
now.
will run next year again, because there is no point. Let me say, it's not that I want to. People need to understand what a congressperson does.
Right.
It's difficult. If you have a bill, you need to find people that sponsor it.
Right.
Then you need to introduce it in order to pass. So if you are there 1 year, you're not going to do anything. You're just going to sit down and warn the seat. So whoever is telling you, I'm just going to go be here, there for their timing. No, I have 3 bills ready to introduce in Congress.
That's right.
And it's going to take time to get support and to advance it. And that's why vote for me November 4th and next year again.
You heard it here. You heard her first. Yeah. I'm getting some directions from the production crew back here.
Yeah.
It's time to close, but that's okay. That's okay. You heard her here. CarmenForCongress.com and AlexandriaButlerCampaign.org. That's my website. Yeah, I want you to give to me too, but my sister, her campaign 71 days until we vote.
As
for
of
her.
tomorrow is 70 days.
As of tomorrow, 70 times a ticking. Get your checkbooks out, get your debit cards out, get your Google Pay and your Apple Pay out, and think about what you're going to donate. Pray about it. Give.
Yeah, and sign up as volunteers. We need people on the ground knocking doors. Yeah,
and with that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us for Monday Night Mandate. God bless you. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Good night.
See you next week.